Before Overcooked blew up, I never would have guessed that a cooking game could be fun. I mean, I don't really like cooking, I like fighting stuff and smashing enemies with oversized weapons. But Overcooked was a blast and it basically kicked off an entire subgenre of chaotic co-op games. Now there's an Overcooked for everything. One for moving and one for renovating, one where you're a pit crew, and like 8 different ones set in space. After a while, they all kind of blur together. That is, until we found Sedap, a culinary adventure. For all players like me, this one actually throws combat into the mix. One player takes charge in the kitchen, while the other hunts down ingredients, literally fighting chickens or giant turtles in the process. It's got a slick art style and a Southeast Asian flavor inspired by the dev's home in Singapore. So is Sedap a fresh new take, or just another dish in Overcooked's shadow? Let's dig in. Need another veggie?
Yep, it's right here.
Should chop that mango before it goes bad.
You don't need it, we don't need it. His last dish is ready for you, just go to make it. His last dish is ready for you.
Okay, got it. Ooh, about to get 3 stars, I think.
I helped you.
Nice.
Let's go.
Let's go, 3 stars.
That was so clean.
Wow.
Bro. That was
Serve
so
all
clean.
dishes fresh and early during rush hour. Nice. Dang, we're getting all the freaking achievements. Wow, that was really clean. I'm gonna kick things off with the basics before diving into the gameplay loop and our overall thoughts on the game. Sedap supports 2-player co-op both online and locally. It's out now on Steam, with console versions coming to Xbox, PlayStation, and Switch later this year, sometime in Q3. Online co-op runs on a host and invite system. One player sets up a lobby and sends over a code. It's quick and simple. That said, since one player is hosting, there's no shared progression. Local co-op is even easier. Just plug in a second controller and you're ready to hop in. The game uses a dynamic split screen that shifts based on how far apart you are, which is a nice touch. They've made co-op easy to set up, but unfortunately we did run into a handful of bugs and bumped up against some general rough edges. For example, we couldn't pick our characters in online co-op, at least with the pre-launch build, though that feature worked just fine locally. We also had multiple crashes and freezes that forced us to restart levels or even relaunch the game. Minor glitches popped up too, like ingredients not showing up where they should. And while we'll touch on some other quality of life issues, I do want to mention Sedap was made by just 3 people. Copy Forge is a small indie team, and they've previously delayed the game a couple times in order to polish it up. I'm sure many of these bugs will be fixed over time, but just know if you're planning to play at launch, you might hit some hiccups. With all that said, let's talk about how Sedap actually plays.
Alright, this is... Okay, what's the yellow thing? That's new.
Noodles.
Noodles. Ooh, I want to eat it.
Me goreng. I feel like
me go hungry.
Me go in tummy. Sedap, a culinary adventure, follows Sam and Gon, 2 best friends and aspiring chefs. After Sam's restaurant fails, the pair stumble across a mysterious recipe book that washes ashore called the Mechanomicon. Armed with new recipes and with the help of their friend Marapi, they set off to a strange island hoping to make it big with a new food truck concept. Unlike most Overcooked likes, Sedap actually weaves in a light narrative. Through cutscenes and dialogue between levels, you'll learn more about the island, its odd inhabitants, and the origins of the Mechanomicon. The core structure should feel familiar if you've played any of these chaotic co-op titles. You'll take on a series of levels, get rated on speed and efficiency, and gradually unlock tougher recipes. Between missions, you'll return to your home base where you can spend your hard-earned coin on different charms and tools. Charms provide passive buffs for both players, things like faster movement speed or slowing down the timer on orders. Tools, on the other hand, are specific to each character. Sam's gear boosts his cooking ability, while Gon's focuses on hunting. Each tool comes with an active ability too, like healing or stunning enemies. I should clarify that while both characters can cook and fight, Sam excels in the kitchen while Gon's better in combat. That translates to faster cooking speeds for Sam and more damage output from Gon. And you can lean into different strengths by choosing specific tools. See, tools vary in their stat spreads. Some might make Sam cook faster but gather ingredients slower, as an example. The full game includes 42 levels across 3 distinct biomes. Each biome ends with a unique set piece, a fun twist that pushes your teamwork and changes up the flow. For this review, we're only showing early gameplay from the first 2 biomes. That's the gameplay loop. Now let's break down what Sedap gets right when it comes to co-op play.
Ooh. One last round. Oh, you gotta make it. Come make it.
Okay, coming.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, dang.
One last wave.
Hold the line, bro. Hold the line. Oh, I'm killing it.
We did it.
Wow,
dude. We did it.
Dang, we crushed it too. That was sick. Like most multitasking co-op games, Sedap has you constantly communicating, calling out ingredients, coordinating steps, and trying to get those orders out the door as soon as possible. But one major change here really improves the overall formula, and that's having clearly defined roles. The fact that each player has a specialty naturally leads to less chaos and more meaningful cooperation. Playing as Sam, I spent most of my time in the kitchen, knowing that's where I was most useful. Sure, I'd run out to hunt a chicken if we were in a pinch, but most of the time I stayed focused on cooking while Andrew handled the wilds. That said, you still need to stay flexible. As the game ramps up in difficulty, you're juggling multiple recipes, dodging hazards, and trying to survive the most intense threat, rush hour. During rush hour, orders start coming in faster, timers shrink, and you have to lock in. These were some of the most satisfying moments when we were fully in the zone, divvying up orders, switching roles without saying a word, and absolutely crushing it. And as your streak builds, your character actually moves faster, and the soundtrack kicks in with more intensity, resulting in some truly hype gameplay. During those moments, your character abilities become absolutely crucial. One of my abilities gave us a buff where hunted meat came pre-chopped, which saved a step and let me help Andrew in the field without abandoning my cooking duties, of course. Gon had access to some clutch combat abilities too, like a poison thrust move that made tougher enemies easier to take down. Is it even safe to eat that meat? Let's not think too hard about it. Team play extends beyond the missions too. At the home base, we spend time choosing which charms to equip. You wouldn't think that a 20% movement buff would make much of a difference, but it definitely does in some of the larger levels. Some charms synergize well with certain tools too. One perk lets you deploy abilities faster, which paired perfectly with Andrew's slower but powerful hammer skill. There's opportunity for some light buildcraft here, which fit into the overall gameplay loop surprisingly well. Overall, the team at Copyforge has found smart ways to promote teamwork while minimizing the usual chaos of this subgenre. Don't get me wrong, there are still frantic moments to be had, but the collaboration here feels more deliberate and rewarding. It's the kind of evolution I've been hoping to see in these kinds of games. That said, Sedap isn't without its issues, so let's talk about some of the things that can get in the way of both teamwork and fun. As I mentioned earlier, there's a lack of polish that unfortunately interrupted our gameplay on more than one occasion and thus made it hard to work together. Cooking and prepping dishes is done through small minigames or QTEs. Most of them are simple enough, while some just aren't intuitive. The game doesn't give you a chance to practice them before a level, so we often had to restart just to figure out what we were doing wrong. It felt like a mix of unclear design and the occasional bug, and it definitely led to some frustrating moments. There's also an odd design choice around how ingredients and animals respawn. It makes sense that once once you hunt the boar, it's gone, but we sometimes be searching all over for vegetables only to realize they just hadn't repopulated yet. A visual cue or even a clear spawn point for animals would go a long way in making this feel a bit more logical. Now, while the addition of combat to the subgenre is a positive, it's not a perfect system. There's no lock-on, no proper dodge, and it's really easy to take damage if you're not careful. Most fights turn into you circling enemies and mashing the attack button. Some combat abilities do spice things up, but others like a teleport move or a parry didn't feel super satisfying to use. That said, the combat mostly works within the game's more casual vibe. It just doesn't always feel as tight or impactful as we'd like. All of these issues affect co-op play to a degree, and your mileage may vary when it comes to how much any of this affects your enjoyment. Overall, I wouldn't say these issues are deal breakers, they're just things to be aware of going in.
I think it's my favorite recipe by far. It's so much fun. Let's go. Wow, we crushed it.
Dang, dude. I was in the middle of the next order.
Oh, jeez. I kind of want the whole game to just be a boba truck, to be honest.
Yeah, only boba going forward, please.
As I wrap this up, I want to give just a little more context to the story behind Sedap. Like I mentioned earlier, this is made by a 3-person team, already impressive all on its own, but what really surprised me is that it actually started out as a student project they finished after graduation. Sedap definitely feels like a passion project. It's got some flaws, sure, but it also has a ton of heart, and that comes through in the art direction, the Southeast Asian influence, and the soundtrack. It was always fun to see new dishes pop up, and we'd even take a second to read the little flavor text that gave us some background on each one. The 15-track score was composed using authentic Southeast Asian instruments, and honestly, some of these tracks absolutely rip. For an indie game, this is a solid package and an easy recommendation if you've wanted more from this genre and you're okay with some launch window hiccups. It might not be perfect, but Sedap stirs in plenty of fresh ideas to make it much more than just another overcooked clone. Thanks for watching, guys. We cover all things co-op games here, previews, reviews, and even news via our Co-op Monthly series. If you want to stay in the know, make sure you subscribe and follow us on all our socials. If you want to support us, check out our Patreon, where we give you first impressions of games via our Patreon exclusive series, Play and Banter. Thank you to those already supporting us there. We'll catch you next time on another episode of The Co-op Bros.